I'm here with Sensei Tim Hoover of Hoover
Hello.
Karate Academy, and we're going to talk a little bit about something he does outside of the dojo. We know a lot about what you do in the dojo here at Hoover Karate Academy, but can you tell us more about your other career with the private detective agency? I'm sure a lot of other people that train here like me don't know much about it.
I can. I think we have to go back a little bit.
Sure, yeah. Where did it come from?
Well,
Where did it start?
Yeah, in 1981 I opened up the karate school. Realized that I did not want to depend on that just for income. I had to do something else too, because the karate school is such a positive thing. And then I got into this whole world of the detective agency, and I opened up the detective agency in 1988. And they kind of fed off of each other. I didn't realize it, but they did. Over a period of time, all the experiences that I had in the industry of being a private detective, being a private investigator, would put me in a place of creating this reality-based system, which we have today under Hoover Karate. So talking to you, we thought it would be a good idea to present some of these case scenarios without using names.
Yes.
And then what happened, what went wrong, and how we can fix it for today, and make sure that we don't make the same mistakes that were made, because it's a serious situation. The world is crazy, as we know. And in this industry of our karate school, we teach self-protection along with all the other things that we do. But in this case, it's just good to kind of go back in time, revisit some of these scenarios, and present them in real time.
Yeah, so you said reality-based self-defense. That's what we focus on at Hoover Karate Academy, not fighting for tournaments or to look great, but
Correct.
to defend ourselves against real scenarios. Do you find there's a lot of overlap between the techniques that we're participating in class and what you see out in the field?
Oh, absolutely. And it's almost more of a state of mind as well. The readiness that you have in training in a 2-hour set with the adult format or in the J1, J2 format kind of readies you to take on, not to so much take on, but to deal with world events. And so I think that would be the number one thing, that just overall awareness would put me in situations where I would understand more or less what I was up against and then what I was looking for, understanding of where to be and be there at the right time, not in the wrong place at the wrong time.
I think we're all probably curious for some examples, if you want to share any, or do you want to dive into one? Or
I can give you, I think the best one to start with is road rage. And we all get in it, we all see it at the beginning of the year. Everybody's trying to get somewhere and we're all in a hurry, right? And this particular friend of mine who became a client he was going in the direction to his job. He's a doctor, by the way. And he, like we all do, sometimes accidentally cut off another vehicle. In this particular case, it was a truck, pickup truck. And he didn't do it on purpose. He just cut him off, didn't realize it. The next thing you know, the truck sped forward and drove him into the guardrail, squeezed him. He didn't get in an accident. There was no impact, but he did squeeze him and cut him off, that he was wedged into the guardrail.
okay.
And this was on a 3-lane highway, so traffic was going around him as this was all happening. So what presented itself after that is this particular individual approached the car, grabbed the car door, threw it open, and was just about ready. He grabbed my client and was just about ready to hit him when his wife, the person who was in the truck, his wife yelled at him and pulled him back and said, "What are you doing?" And we were lucky because after that we got a license plate number, chased it down, and I dealt with the scenario later. It did not turn into a bad situation. It could have got a lot worse. But there was 3 mistakes he made.
Yeah.
Mistake number 1 was didn't lock the door. And I think what happens in extreme situations, we need to make sure that we have not 6 or 10 things to do, but 2 or 3 things to do.
Yeah.
Number 1, lock the door. The car is a place of protection, right? Number 2, he didn't take his seatbelt off, so he was restricted. Number 3, he had a cell phone, he didn't call 911. All these things could have happened within a 2 to 3 minute period.
Yeah.
And that is kind of what we call self-defense, whether we use our mind or whether we use our body. So that's what we want to kind of role play today and show you what happened and how we could get better at things that we're going to run into ourselves. Right?
I think that's great. I think having quick tips is really important for people because, like you said, just unlocking your seatbelt. Never would have thought of that. I wouldn't have.
Unlock your seatbelt. That's a strangling device.
Oh.
And all these different things is that person, thank God that the wife pulled him back and rang reality in his brain and said, "Hey, what are you doing?" Screamed and yelled at him, actually.
Sure.
And I met the person later. the individual who caused this situation. And he was a heck of a nice guy. He just lost his mind at that moment, because we're all in that situation where somebody cuts us off. They put us in this situation, our rage comes up, we overreact, and thank God he stopped and didn't follow through.
I think it's time we try it out and see what it looks like.
We'll go out. It's next. Let's do it. Here's a scenario. Guy pulls over, wedges my client in, gets out of the car in rage, runs over, grabs the door, door's open. Seatbelt's still on. Cell phone's there. Didn't even call 911. Didn't have time. Forgot to lock the door. Forgot to take the seatbelt off. This all happens during panic. And remember, these little things you can do, you need to keep them simple so you can think smart. So the idea, guys, is to keep it simple and keep it safe. And memory is, again, 2 to 3 ideas and concepts about getting you out of a bad situation, not complicating the brain in a situation that is increasingly stressful. Stress takes away from the thought process of making good decisions. Just recently, we started doing what's called a scramble drill inside the dojo, where everybody just runs and tries to not, and be aware of not bumping into others, just getting out of trouble. With everything that's happening right now around the world, you can see that things happen in any town, anywhere, at any time. The idea, whether it's inside of a car or in a public place, is to get yourself in a safe place. And that's how you think. The way you think is what's going to get you home. So I think we'd like to talk about future ideas, scenarios, situations that anybody that would have any suggestions, correct?
Yes, Isaiah, you have a ton that you can draw from, I'm sure, so we'll keep pulling from your experiences, but if anyone else has a scenario that it has either happened to them and they would like it discussed on this series without using your name, or just an idea that comes to mind of something they wonder, what would I do in this situation? How would I stay safe and keep it simple while I do? Submit it. Comment below. You can also email us at Hoover Karate and we can just go from there.
Yeah, I mean, on one end, the karate school is the physical part of self-defense, but it's also mental self-defense. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of where we're going with the idea of having, both businesses kind of coming together and, letting you dive into it.
Okay, we'll see you in the next video.
Thank you.